Today, I want to talk about one of the biggest problems in the United States, no pun intended, and the Western world, and that is the obesity epidemic. This number right here, 85%, that in the United States, where I live, represents the amount of the population that is classified as either overweight or obese. And it's about 50-50, comparing or within that 85%. So, about 40 to 42.5% is going to be, of that 85 is going to be overweight, and then another 40 to 42.5 is going to be obese. So in the United States, the massive amount, it might be a little bit lower, it might be a little bit higher overall, but the massive majority of the population falls into these categories. Now, what do we do about this, right? I am a personal trainer. And so when I was in school, what's scary about this number is I graduated in 2012. So less than 10 years ago, this number was 64%. So in less than 10 years, this number has increased by 20%. That's massive. And think about on top of that, would you say today in 2021, it's about to be 2022, are there more personal trainers? Are there more nutritionists? Are there more physical therapists? Are there more people in health than there was in 2012? I would say so. I would say, especially because when I was in school, it was impacted. It was impossible to get classes because so many people wanted to get into my field, which was kinesiology, which was exercise science. So if you look at the comparison in 10 years, what this has done, but with even more emphasis on it, right? We have more emphasis on health. We have more trainers. We have more people trying to help people get fit. So what's really going on here? I believe that it's going to take a lot more than personal trainers and nutritionists. As we've seen, we haven't been very successful. I think that it's going to take a psychological approach. It's going to take a philosophical approach. And one of the things that I would hope that the Western world wants to do is to, at the same time, we want to look good, feel good, be healthy for ourselves, but we also want to help out the rest of the world. We want to be philanthropic. We want to end world hunger. And I think that if we look at this number and we look at the rest of the world that is struggling to get food, I mean, let's just think about it. If you're part of this 85%, you're either overweight or obese and you want to lose weight. Let's just say you kept buying food at that number that was going to keep us here. But we actually took the steps, we had the discipline. Again, this is going to take more than just training. This is going to take more than just discipline. This is going to take a psychological approach. Most people are addicted to food, just like they would be addicted to alcohol or cigarettes or any of these things. People are addicted to food, especially people who don't smoke, don't drink, don't steal, don't do drugs, don't do all these things. What's their release? Their release is to eat because it's tasty. It's a feeling that can get you, especially like people talk about chocolate, like they're chocoholics, right? You can get this feeling from it. And I'm not saying that we take that away, but I'm saying we start to be more responsible about how we go about it for our own sake, but for the world as well. Just imagine for a second, we took this 85%, right? And we said, okay, you're going to still buy the same amount of food that you would normally, but instead of eating all of it, right? Because that's what's causing this number to go from, like I said, 64 to 85 in less than 10 years. We're doing it to ourselves. No one is coming from another country and saying, injecting us with a bunch of food. We're eating it our own. We're gathering food from all these different countries. We got bananas from Ecuador. We got avocados from Mexico. We got all these different things coming from all over the place to here. And at least I'm speaking in the United States. These are United States numbers. United States, if you can read my chicken scratch. So when we have these massive numbers and we're consuming, if we decided to still consume, right? Take that food, but we're not going to eat it all, right? We're going to give some of it away, right? Let's just think about if you wanted to lose 1 pound, 1 lb, in 1 week, it's going to be 3,500 calories. Okay, that 3,500 calories is we're going to need to be in a deficit. If you took 3,500 calories, and people can lose a lot more than 1 pound in 1 week, but let's just take that conservative approach. 3,500 calories, that is a massive amount of food, okay? And so if we said for all of these people that were doing that, maybe we're not going to get all of them, but a big percentage of them, if we started to save 3,500 calories worth of food and we started to donate that to people in need, imagine what we could do. Number one, this number right here is going to dramatically drop, right? Because we're not consuming, and that's where it comes from. We know as personal trainers, as fitness enthusiasts, as these people who try to get people healthy through just one area, exercise, it doesn't work. To try to run off the amount of food that you need to do or to lose to get to your goals, it's so much harder. Plus, what happens when you're every single day trying to burn off calories? You're going to maybe skip a day. Maybe you're going to get sick. Maybe you're going to go on vacation. Maybe you're going to have a day where you say, screw it, I don't want to. And then now you're down a day or down a week or down a month. So it's a losing battle if we're going to try to just expend more. It has to be in that consumption phase if we're going to solve this massive problem. Again, no pun intended, but it is a big problem. So we look at this number, how are we going to solve it? We've got to, do something like this. People can lose even more. So it's like, imagine if you lost 2 pounds a week. If you had the weight to lose and it was 7,000, that can feed someone in a week. That's 1,000 calories a day. For a small person, that's a normal amount of food. You might not think for you, right? But for some people that is, especially someone that's getting only the bare minimum. Some of these people who have diseases because they're not getting enough of the basics, right? They're not getting 7,000 calories a week. There's no way. They're not getting 3,500. So we could solve part of world hunger at the same time dramatically drop our own problem of obesity and overweight. And it's not to say that everyone needs to be classified as that, because BMI is not a perfect statistic to use, or it's not a perfect metric to use to quantify health, but it's pretty darn good, right? If we look at BMI and we compare that across other health metrics, it's pretty good. It doesn't work for everyone, but like I said, the people that it doesn't work for are in the small minority. I would say less than 1% of the population that falls within this, less than 1% of this is healthy, all right, by all means. And maybe they're only healthy at this moment in time. And maybe the next year or two or whatever, we start to see those effects of the obesity start to take place, because it's not you are obese today and you die tomorrow. It's a slow, gradual process, right? Insulin resistance and diabetes don't happen overnight. It takes years and years of bombardment of your cells for them to start to say, no mas, okay? So if we want to solve world hunger, if we want to solve our own obesity epidemic, it's going to come from that consumption phase. I say, let's not stop with what we're already doing. Let's just take that food and let's start to give it away. Be generous. Wouldn't you like to just give away some of the body fat that you have and let it go, right? We all say that we want to lose this or lose that. Well, let's do that and let's give it to other people. Obviously, we're not trying to make the rest of the world fat, right? That's not our goal. But if you're not getting the basics, if you're not even getting 3,500 calories a week, but yet we need that much to be in a deficit so that we can, get to the goal, then let's kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So this is just a psychological and philosophical approach that we can take in the Western world. Again, this is according to the United States, these numbers, but imagine if some of these other places like Great Britain took this on as well. So at the end of the day, we are in control. It's our choices, it's our habits. it's got to come from within. And if you are motivated by helping other people, start to think about it this way, right? If you started donating the extra food that you normally would consume, you're going to lose, they're going to gain, but you're going to gain as well, meaning you're going to gain what you want, meaning you're going to gain that ideal physique, you're going to gain the health metrics, you're going to gain a lot out of it. So we don't have to change too much, but it's going to take a lot of help. It's not just going to come from fitness and health people. It's going to come from psychologists, doctors, from all of our community. Again, like we said, it's an addiction problem. If everyone was an alcoholic, how would you know that it was a bad thing? Almost everyone I see is addicted to food. Everyone loves cookies and candy and all this other stuff. And not only that, just normal food that we eat is in excess, and we all do it. So if we start to get our habits on point and we start to think about ourselves in a global sense, saying, hey, we're consuming, other people aren't. If we switch that around, what could happen? Who knows? But all I know is we're not heading in the right direction. It's only going up, and we have more people in this industry trying to help than ever. So it's going to take more than that. And maybe this is something that'll motivate some people to think outside themselves and think, well, what am I doing? I'm consuming more than my body needs, and yet someone isn't even able to get the basics for themselves. They might even die because they don't have enough calories in their system. When I have more than enough, right? More than enough pounds to give that away. And it's not necessarily that you can just give your body fat away, but if you're consuming on a daily basis this amount of food, right? You can start donating it. And maybe you don't buy as much, but you start to donate some money to those places. Or maybe you don't. But what's going to happen? Those resources are going to have to find other places because the production has been ramped up so that it can feed us, right? We're the consumers. Production, supply, demand. We demand it, the world's going to supply it. I say, let's figure out a way to kill two birds with one stone. Let's drop this number down. In 10 years, it went from 64% to 85%. Let's see if we can get it back down in 10 years and keep trending down so that we're healthy, and at the same time, perhaps we can help the rest of the world at least get to the level of satiety where they're able to eat and feel full and be healthy and survive. So that's my rant today. Talk to you next time. See ya.